Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Move podcast, brought to you each and every day this summer by Ketone IQ, of course, made by HVMN. We're talking about Stage 6. Alain, what did we do?
Stage 6. Tarbes to Cauterets-Cambasque. Tarbes to Cauterets-Cambasque.
I tell you, anytime I'm just going to have Alain start making me just stupid, not stupid, French. Any day, I'm grumpy, which George would tell you is most days, I'm just going to listen to him say stuff. I mean, I just laugh.
If you could make him your Siri voice.
But yeah, well, you never know. A special guest on the show today, Johan Bruyneel's chiming in from Europe. He's got, of course, like he does almost every day during a race, he's got a lot of thoughts. But before we get into the action, and there was a lot, today's show brought to you by Roka. They've invented a completely new class of eyewear. Glasses optimized for performance. No other eyewear brand can keep up with what these guys are doing. Their prescription glasses have the exact same technology as their performance sunglasses, which, of course, we love all of them. We love the riding glasses, the chilling glasses, and the reading glasses. They're unbelievably lightweight, and you'll literally forget you're wearing them. They have the best optics on the market. They're crystal clear, fog-resistant, scratch-resistant. And when you're sweating as much as I do, they never slip, and they're also hand-built to order in my hometown of Austin, Texas. The Move listeners get 20% off. Just go to Roka, that's ROKA.com, and enter the code THEMOVE for 20% off. Again, that's Roka.com. Also today brought to you by Wahoo. Wahoo's cycling products are trusted by the entire pro peloton, and if my math is correct, we have done 6 stages. Wahoo bike computers have been on 6 out of 6 stage winners. Did you know that, George?
I did not know that.
That's a fact, right? That's pretty impressive. I mean, I don't think there's anybody else in the industry that's 6 for 6 so far. Their latest release on the Bolt 2 and the Roam 2 includes Wahoo's new Summit feature, providing you with color gradients, detailed climb data, and even helps you detect climbs nearby when you're not using a route. Special offer for our listeners. You can save 20% off on select full-price products by using the code THEMOVE at checkout. So during the tour, go to wahoofitness.com/themove. Enter the code THEMOVE to save you 20% off. Again, that's wahoofitness.com/themove. Well, I know. I really don't. I'm just going to get this out of the way. I don't understand what I saw today by Jonas Vingegaard. And I know this team, and we have Johan here, has maybe some different thoughts. I'm going to save it. But, as expected, we talked about Tadej Pogačar yesterday. The kid is tough. The kid bounces back. He's always fighting. He's always attacking. He's always waiting for that opportunity. Excellent stage win today. I don't know what anybody else was thinking, but I'll let you guys chime in. I need a moment to cool off before I talk about it.
I think we should break it down just from the start, which I noticed earlier that Wout van Aert was the first attack from kilometer 0.
Yeah.
Back in our day, first attack was a Pannekuchen TV attack. 100%. Like first attack, oh God, who's going now? It's kind of annoying. Now the first attack is guys like Wout van Aert that are going for it and making the breakaway. I mean, it's. I don't even think we understand the sport anymore.
It was like Pannekuchen's like Johan. You of course remember this, like Jackie Durant. And not only would he attack at kilometer 0, they would do one of these running starts, right? They'd time it in the neutral zone. They'd be up the side, and they're like 300 meters to go before. There's a big banner that says kilometer 0. This sumbitch would be full speed by the time he hit 0.
Yeah.
It was guys like Jackie Durant, and he had this nickname Doo-Doo, which he most of the time lived up to. But yeah, it was always Pannekuchen.
But he did win a couple big races from those Pannekuchen attacks. I mean, I think Johan, didn't he win? He won a stage of the Tour, and maybe am I gonna be Flanders? Maybe like that.
He won a few stages in the Tour.
Yeah.
He won the Tour of Flanders.
Won the Tour of Flanders. That's no Pannekuchen right there.
He won Paris Tours. Yeah, he won a bunch of races like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, today is different. If you look at and this is very similar to what we saw last year with Wout van Aert. Wout van Aert last year also attacked a few times at kilometer 0, whether it was for him to try to win the stage or as part of a strategy of the whole team, Jumbo-Visma, to have him in front and then be like the last guy to pull for the leader, which in my opinion was their objective today.
Yeah, and not only that, but you saw he attacked from kilometer 0 and it pulled the whole Tourmalet. Didn't even ask for a pull. Gets caught right at the top of the Tourmalet, then basically pulls the whole. I think he pulled for like 60 kilometers. The guy is an absolute beast.
And especially also if you see, you know, I mean, obviously Jumbo-Visma had a plan today, right? And I think, I mean, Lance, I kind of agree that Jonas Vingegaard didn't ride very smart today. But based on the knowledge they got yesterday, I kind of understand what they were doing.
Yeah, trying to put the nail in the coffin.
Guys.
Well, yesterday was, let's not forget, yesterday Vingegaard set a new record on the Marie Blanc, and he was 1.5 minutes faster than Pogačar's fastest time ever 3 years ago when he won that same stage. Him and Roglic went together over the Marie Blanc. That was the record. He went 1 minute 27 seconds.
We didn't know that. Yeah. This is why we have Johan on.
It doesn't matter. Listen.
It was 20. Lance, wait a second. Let me finish. So he did 21 minutes at 6.92 watts per kilo yesterday. The thinking behind today is, and I kind of agree with it. I mean, I'm not agree. I mean, I would consider it, but, you know, of course, you are not against just any rider. You know, this is Pogačar. This is a guy.
Thank you.
You know, but 6.92 watts per kilo. Today they were thinking, okay, you know, from La Mongie till the top of the Tourmalet, we're going to do the same thing. We have Wout van Aert in the front. Game over. They wanted to finish the tour today.
Yeah, well.
So, and let's talk about...
No.
Lance, y'all let me forget what I'm about to say.
All right, we'll write it down. Here, you need a pen?
No, I got it. Just,
okay, everybody's ganging up on me, so now it's my turn. Now listen. Like you said, we're not talking about a panic cooking. You've seen a guy like Tadej Pogačar bounce back, and the kid never quits. It makes absolutely, as I said yesterday, and I said this on the show yesterday, if you're Jonas Vingegaard, you should do nothing. You have you had, almost 50 seconds?
God. Are you really saying this?
Yes, I am.
What were you saying? Okay, finish.
I did.
Now I got two things to say.
This is the 6th stage of the Tour de France. You built up a nice lead. You made a nice move. You had Johan, these numbers. It's great. This is Tadej Pogačar. This is not some panic cooking, right? This is not... You know, some jitbag. This is arguably one of the greatest of all time. Let him sit on your wheel, have your team ride all day long? Absolutely not. You know what? You got everything you deserve today. Absolutely.
Well, okay, so what did I not hear you right in the gym this morning when you're prancing around doing I don't know how many pull-ups, showing off, going when Jumbo's at the front at the Tourmalet? What'd I say? They're gonna go hard. They're gonna try to pop them. Now you're changing the story, jumping on the Pogačar bandwagon?
What I said yesterday is that I thought they would contribute to Bora.
Okay.
And if I didn't say that yesterday, then I'm losing my mind.
But second, my first point before you started talking was, Lance, as the Tour de France winner you were, the dominant rider you were, I want you to talk about a day like today where, of course there was a victory, there was a gap. But for me, the pivotal moment is Jonas doing this tempo, which he thinks he's about to drop Pogačar. Then all of a sudden, Pogačar attacks him. He's not even like sort of asking for a pull. He's not even looking back. He has no idea that Pogačar is about to attack him. Think about what do you think is going through Jonas's mind mentally when that attack happens?
Exactly. I have no idea. I actually
guess for me.
Well, look. I mean, I can't. Hold on, Johan. Yeah. This was a question for me. Let me just finish. All I can do is put myself in his shoes, and let me just put Jan, for example, in Pogačar's shoes. There is no way on God's green earth I would have just let him sit there on my wheel.
Not even ask for a pull.
No, and said, no, don't pull. I'll just pull. I'm going to ride you off. What the fuck? I mean, there's absolutely, oh my God. I'm telling you.
I agree with you.
Everybody will,
Johan, go ahead.
I can't even take it. Y'all are going to be coming back going, all right, he was right.
I agree with Lance that...
no way.
As I said, I can understand the strategy and the intention of Jumbo. But the big mistake was made on the Tourmalet. The moment Vingegaard goes and sees how easy Pogačar responds, at that stage of the race on a climb like that, he pulled him for over 2 kilometers. Today, Vingegaard made exactly the same mistake like Pogačar made last year on the Galibier.
Yep.
Exactly the same mistake. And the same thing happened on the last climb. The differences are not the same, but it's the same. You know, he based on what he saw yesterday and based on how he dropped Pogačar, he thought he would drop him. Van Aert would wait for him. And finally, that didn't happen. So you have to be able to adjust, you know, and just say, hey, okay, you know, this now I can't drop him today, but I need to stay with him. You know,
Johan, how much do you think was Jonas doing that in the final climb, or his director saying he's on the limit? He's on the limit. Yeah. What do you think? Who do you think was instigating this?
We could hear Jumbo on the radio in the downhill at the beginning of the downhill of the Tourmalet. Don't know if you guys heard that.
No.
I think it was Grisha Nierman who was on the radio. Come on, Jonas, great job. You had him on the limit. You still have him on the limit in the downhill. He started to go fast, and Pogačar was kind of gapped a little bit. So I think that's kind of a mistake. You know, if you were that much stronger yesterday and you can't drop him, it's not a big deal today. You know, just try to just stay with him.
That said, that mental blow of the attack from Pogačar with 3 kilometers to go, for me, I think was a super important moment. But the way Jonas responded and only lost, 30 seconds?
24 seconds.
Was impressive because he kind of regrouped mentally. And albeit lost time and, you know, lost today's battle,
listen,
he recovered quite well.
JB, I'm going to bring JB into this conversation because I believe we need to do some forensic accounting. All right. I'm now convinced that not just George, but also Johan are being somehow paid by Jumbo to just kiss ass today. There is absolutely, let me finish, there's no excuse to sit on the front in front of a rider like Tadej Pogačar and go basically, as we saw, because he couldn't follow the move, basically going as hard as you can go, number one, not even have him take a pull so that you can get behind and have a look-see. Look at his face. See how he's sweating. See how he's pedaling. Not even have a look-see. What, does he have fucking eyes in the back of his head? No. Is he relying on a team car that has no idea? Yes.
You can't read Pogačar anyway.
There's no way. I mean, and if you're going to sit on the front, then go 80%. So that, God forbid, one of the greatest riders in this generation attacks you, you can go with him.
I am not saying I disagree. I'm saying he recovered.
I think it was the forensic accounting that got him.
Yes,
he's coming around.
I'm saying he recovered and was able to minimize his loss, which could have been a disaster for him because he was doing so much work. I agree.
I tell you what,
we were both in shock going, why are you not even asking for a pull?
Here's what I want to know. How do you think today should have played out? What would have been the best tactic? Let Bora have their day and only go if Pogačar goes and follow him.
After yesterday, the odds-on favorite to win the Tour was Vingegaard. You had a guy like Jai Hindley in the jersey who has a strong team. It's their responsibility. Chip in when you need to if something happens, but let the race kind of come to you. You don't have to try to. We're on day 6. You're not going to deal a death blow on day 6 after the advantage you got yesterday. Just let it happen. And I was in a good mood, actually, before the stage. And I'm not in a good mood now. I just a bummer. I don't think you raced that way.
I agree. If they have so much confidence in Jonas, and Johan, you might have to back me up on this. If you have so much confidence, you're on stage 6. Let a team like Bora, which is an incredibly strong team, let them do the work. And you know what? You feel good? Go in the last 5-6 kilometers of the final climb. Save your guys. Save for the battle. You're in great position. You're in second place. If you have that much confidence, then just save it a bit.
And again,
one thing that we have to take into account is that yesterday, of course, it was a huge win for Jumbo and Jonas, both in time and mentally. So the thinking behind, they all know that Pogačar is coming back from an injury, that he's probably going to improve during this Tour de France. So let's kick our opponent when he's in the ropes.
Yes.
No, that's the thinking behind it. And up till that attack from Pogačar on the Tourmalet, I can understand it. The moment he saw that he couldn't drop Vingegaard, that he couldn't drop Pogačar, that's where the mistakes happened. Yep. But yet they kept the excitement going. And yeah, at the end, on a tier, in theory, not such a difficult climb, Col du Tourmalet. I mean, look what happened.
I mean, as commentators, it's our job to critique the tactics, but as a fan, it doesn't get any better than this. If this was a boxing match, it's 3 rounds to 3 rounds right now, and it's only going to get better.
I know.
Don't you guys feel like Pogačar has in his mind now the playbook for chipping away 10 seconds here, 20 seconds here, and he can take this tour?
I mean,
I think they're so equal right now that they're just going to look for every opportunity they can get, and when they get it, they're going to go. Like we saw today, they're going to go full gas and try to get those, like you said, a little bit chipping away at the time.
Yeah. It does make for a good race and an exciting race, and
we have to wait. We have to wait until Sunday night to really, say, okay, with the Alps still to come, because Puy de Dôme is incredibly hard.
Yeah, very, very hard.
That's where we're really going to see. There's no hiding there. It's a steep climb all the way, consistent. So, I mean, if you look at the effort on the Tourmalet, and especially on those last 4 kilometers from La Mongie to the top, I mean, I saw some numbers here. It's 1930 VAM, the vertical meters per hour,
which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's super, super fast, and that's mainly done by Vingegaard. So,
yeah.
I mean, Johan, break that down. Back in our day, I mean, fast times were 1,800.
No,
correct?
well, Pantani had some days of 2,000 in the Giro, but keep in mind that when we're measuring VAM, which is vertical altitude, whatever it means. It's easier to have a higher number on steeper climbs, which you typically see in the Giro. But I mean,
wait, go deeper on that. I don't think in the 7 years of doing this show we've ever mentioned this term VAM.
No, Lance, VAM is velocità altitudine media. average altitude speed,
but per hour. Yeah, so basically, we're talking about something right around 2,000 meters. So that's 6,600 feet per hour. So if somebody had outside of their house, if they had a climb that went from sea level to 6,000 feet, that
right
means
here,
they can.
We can do that here.
No, we can't.
Not sea level, but yeah.
But we can't. We can only from here. We can only go from 8,000 to 12,400. So. Yeah. Somewhere you would ride up in it an hour. I mean, it's lightning fast.
Yeah.
So the point being, that's a high speed and a very fast tempo on a climb.
We're relatively fit cyclists, not professional cyclists anymore. If we rode right now from Aspen to the top of Independence Pass, which is about 4,400 feet, it would take us about an hour and 40 minutes.
Right, but it's also not steep. So again,
it's altitude.
Yeah,
it's altitude.
It's the steeper it is, the better it is for VAM. But we'll get into all if we want to keep talking about that. I'm struggling today. I don't like to see these things happen. And I cheer. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to play favorites in this thing. I like this Vingegaard kid, and I like Pogačar. But I don't like to see mistakes like that. It's a bummer.
That's what makes it tricky. We don't have a villain. You know what I mean? They're both likable young guys.
Well, actually, we do. But before we do, talk about villains and stuff. A little bit of business. Today's show also brought to you by HVMN. They're also our title sponsor this summer. Of course, they're the makers of Ketone IQ, the first to make a drinkable ketone in 2017. It is their latest innovation on ketones with improved effectiveness, taste, and cost. Ketone IQ delivers clean fuel that can cross the blood-brain barrier, supplying your brain and body sustained energy, mental focus, and sharpness, putting you in flow, lasting for hours. It's no wonder that HVMN supplies ketones to the majority of this peloton, as you're all watching throughout the day. Also, Ketone IQ is now available at Sprouts, if you've got one of those in your neighborhood, which we don't here in Aspen. Oh, that'd be nice. Mr. and Mrs. Sprouts, could you please open one of those up here? You can save 30% off your first subscription order of Ketone IQ at hvmn.com/themove. Again, that's hvmn.com/themove. Also today brought to you by Element. We talk about it all the time. It's summertime. It's hot outside. Even up here, it's getting hot outside. We're out biking and working out and sweating. Element is our go-to hydration source. I mean, it's the one that we've tested the most and we love the most 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium, no sugar, no gluten, no artificial ingredients, no BS. Simply put, it's the real deal. Check this out, special offer. And if you don't like, by the way, if you don't like it, hand it off to a friend, which is the thing I love the most. Special offer for our listeners. You get a free sample pack. We get citrus flavor, raspberry, orange, and unflavored. You can dial in the flavor you like the most, and then go from there. Head on over to drinklmnt.com/themove and get your free gift with purchase. Again, drinklmnt.com/themove. Last one of the day. Our next partner is AG1, the daily foundational nutrition supplement that supports whole body health. Another thing we drink religiously. Gee, even you have your thing there.
I got it ready to go.
Look, you're every day.
I'm saving it for right before.
The only thing, there's a lot of things different between you and me, but the one thing is I hit it right when I get up. It's mine.
I do too, but I have to get mine from the studio. So I steal your stash when I get here.
Okay, good. Simply put, I was tired of taking supplements, wanted a single solution that supports my entire body and covers nutritional bases every day. I wanted better gut health, a boost in energy, immune system support, and we can hear George taking a big swig, and I wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. So with every daily serving, I'm setting myself up for success with 75 high-quality ingredients that give me key daily nutrients and support energy, focus, strength, and clarity. I also like that it costs less than $3 a day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Head on over to drinkag1.com/themove. One more time, that's drinkag1.com/themove. Take control of your health.
Neilson Powless back in the breakaway today.
Yeah.
Back in the polka dot jersey. Amazing to see him bounce back after yesterday. Looked like he was suffering a bit. Great ride today. Awesome to see him back. And I think he's in like 11th overall in the general classification.
Please hold.
So, okay, we're going to check. Johan, while Lance is looking.
He is 11th, yeah.
Yeah. So well, never mind. You just told me he's 11th. But yesterday, what did you think when that breakaway?
No, he's 11th on the stage.
Okay. What did you think yesterday when that breakaway of 32 guys went? Would you agree with me that you would have never let that breakaway go with Jai Hindley in there?
Absolutely not. I mean, one of the things which we discussed on JB Squared actually, when you are in charge of a race and you have the yellow jersey, in this case here, UAE, no matter how hectic it is in the beginning, and you don't know this, the first thing that you guys needed to do is you start riding. Yeah. And you maintain a speed of 45 kilometers per hour until you know who's in there.
Yeah.
Now, and from what I heard, because our other member of We Do, Victor Hugo Peña, who's on the tour, spoke to Machin today, who is the director of UAE, and he said that it took a very long time until they knew that Jai Hindley was in there. I mean, what an I mean, that's like an 1.5 minute free time already. And I mean, 32 riders, before you know who's in there, it takes forever.
Yeah, but Johan, you'd give us the responsibility. You'd give us 5 guys. That I don't care what happens, you guys ride. Yeah. But if one of these guys go, you better close it down right away. So it wasn't your responsibility. It was our responsibility to see with our own eyes what's unfolding.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's a bunch of things that happened yesterday. First of all, they were asleep, UAE, at the start. That's for sure. Plus, they have 2 riders in the front, which is, in my opinion, also a mistake. They should have had them straight away there, because you either close it in the beginning or you can forget about it. 32 riders, there is no one team which can control that.
So speaking of that, today Lance and I were questioning UAE getting dropped from Jonas and Pogačar, but pulling as hard as they could right behind them to try to catch back up with a big group on their wheel. Why were they doing that? We didn't understand that one either.
I have the same question. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, once you have your leader in a good position, and here in this case Pogačar with Vingegaard, nobody else needs. They all need to save themselves.
Exactly. Same thing with Sepp Kuss, who finished 3 minutes behind. I love the guy. I'm a huge fan. One of America's greatest climbers ever. But he's coming across the line at 3 minutes after doing all that work, and I'm going, shouldn't he be at like 15, 20 minutes, like grinding gear the whole way up that last climb?
Yeah, I don't understand either. Yesterday, for example, was different. You know, he wanted to break Pogačar mentally by staying on his wheel, which I think helped a lot.
Yep.
Today, I'm seeing Sepp Kuss is in 10th place overall.
That's what I was wondering. Does he have an objective to have a top 10, which isn't good for the whole team's goal? You know.
What JB? What do we know?
I was going to say, if the objectives is to get top 5, top 10, then okay, he's got to keep going. But I know that, you know, once you have that one objective, Johan, you'd always say in the team meeting, if you have another objective besides helping Lance win the Tour, you can take your bags and go home right now before the race started.
George, there's been guys on the team in the Tour de France who did that kind of. There's one rider, one rider.
Oh boy!
One rider. Once I gave the permission to go for it after we were safe. That was Acevedo. He got the permission to go fast on the Alpe d'Huez time trial, and then because he got 5th finally, but we had everything safe already. There's another rider or 2 riders. I'm not going to name the names of these. Who just went way too fast, also in time trials, and they didn't get renewed the year after. We couldn't send them home because we needed them.
You are so mean, Johan. You're just a mean.
I mean, Lance. I'm used to be the bad guy. I'm this evil. I'm this evil devil that I didn't renew people.
But seriously though, compare and contrast, and we saw George. You talked about the effort that Wout van Aert put out today. And when he finally pulled off, I thought the guy, and they showed it on the coverage, I thought he was going to fall off his bike. The couple people had to run out from the side of the road and kind of catch him and keep him actually moving.
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm hearing y'all say, which I don't disagree with, is that's the way to play it. Like, go as hard as you have to go while you're working. But as soon as it doesn't matter, I mean, and by the way, folks, there is nothing to stop anybody in this race from if Wout van Aert wanted to pull over and stop, you don't have to keep moving. I mean, you could pull over, stop, stretch your legs, stretch your back, have a sip of water, and get going. I mean, he basically stopped. He was going that slow. You don't have to keep moving, but you always see that with every year in, year out. You see it with Wout van Aert.
It's a testament to how hard Wout van Aert is burying himself, because you can watch him in a cross race where he's full gas for an hour and not collapse like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's burying himself.
That's where I also question. I mean, we don't know exactly what the motive is, but Sepp Kuss, we all know that he's the guy. He helped Roglic win the Giro, right? He was there in the key moments. Until now, he's there in the key moments for Jonas. But today, he finishes 14th in the stage. And he is with guys like David Gaudu, Romain Bardet, Adam Yates. Those are guys who went full gas. Mm-hmm. Simon Yates, so, I mean, you can hardly say, okay, he's in a group and he's cruising, right? That's not the case. He had to go hard too. So, I mean, until now, we really can't criticize it because he has been there in the crucial moments every single time. I saw a list of Grand Tour podiums with Sepp Kuss present since 2017. It's impressive. Every single year he's been on teams which either have won Grand Tours or be on the podium. Wow. But for the moment, I don't like that. I don't like that strategy.
And he's got a couple of days where he might not have to do too much work. So maybe he's just thinking mountain day, get a couple of days off. And
that's true, George. But I mean, no matter how modern cycling has evolved, how scientific it is, how much they control the data, there are still things that are valid. I was talking with one of the ex-team directors of one of these big teams here yesterday, and he says, the effort. I mean, there's one thing, in my opinion, in a Tour de France, especially in the Tour de France, that is always valid. That's every single effort you do, you pay the price at some point. We see today what an unbelievable effort Vingegaard did on the Marie Blanc, but also after and going to the finish. Today, it was not the same Vingegaard. He paid for it, right? So the same goes for Sepp Kuss. I mean, whenever his job is done, he should just save everything he has and make sure and to focus on, okay, I need to be there on Sunday on the Puy de Dôme. Most likely he will be there, and I'll have to shut up,
Yeah,
But,
I agree.
But as you pointed out, Johan, he just coming off the Giro too. Like that's a really difficult double.
Right. Well,
That's
I saw
impressive.
a quote from him. He said he felt like that was the perfect preparation. If you can do it right and time it right and recover enough in the middle, yeah, it is a great preparation. But let's talk about tomorrow's stage. Johan, actually, you be a better person to ask on this. But obviously in the sprint stages, Paris is really the pinnacle or the most premier sprint stage in the Tour. But the stage into Bordeaux is a very historic stage and a big. I think it's probably the second biggest sprint stage when it comes to the history of the Tour. And of course, speaking of history of the Tour, we're looking at another opportunity for Mark Cavendish to potentially break this record. And in fact, I'm sure he's won into Bordeaux. He's won so many damn stages. I'm sure he's won into Bordeaux a few times at least. That's a question for Spencer. But let's look at tomorrow's stage. Unless you have other thoughts, Johan, while we're looking.
Yeah, tomorrow's the day for Cav.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. If it's not tomorrow, then it's gonna have to. It starts looking like Paris will be the day, which
Not only that, but he's won it before into Bordeaux, so he knows the finish quite well.
Yeah.
Were you not
But
just
listen, the competition is is very, very hard. Alpecin de Koning with. You see, this is also something I don't really understand. Mathieu van der Poel in the breakaway today.
Yeah.
The thinking behind it could be okay. Then at least I can go easy on the Tourmalet and cruise to the finish. That kind of makes a little bit of sense. But yeah, tomorrow Van der Poel is on lead-out duty for Philipsen, the green jersey, and Cav has a chance. 6th, 5th. He's definitely confident.
It'll be interesting to see if the same thing happens when what happened in stage 3, where everybody's so tired. They know they're pretty much guaranteed. 100% guaranteed there's going to be a field sprint. So why even try to go in the breakaway? But I think at this point in the race, there's teams that haven't done anything and they need a little bit of TV time. So I can't imagine the same thing happening. What do you think, Johan?
Tomorrow, the guys who go in breakaways, that's a punishment, George.
Yeah.
It's a punishment.
Well, hey, Johan, as a director, and you're sitting around, your team hasn't done anything, and you know that they're not going to do anything tomorrow. What are you going to do?
Listen, if they're punishing people tomorrow, they need to put Christian Nierman in the breakaway. Talk about something. That's somebody who needs to get punished. Colton, can we look at the run-in? Because the run-in for tomorrow is a little...
loop.
Once you get past 2K to go, it's very straightforward. But if you back it out and start at 5 to go, even just before that tricky, and it's even marked with an exclamation point, call that 5.5K to go, all the way in, you've got some pretty tricky turns, technical, and then from 2K on, it's straightforward. But they got to stay. You got to stay in position just to keep an eye on.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. The last 2 kilometers at least are without any complications. So.
Right.
I personally found the race circuit trickier than this finish. I think this is going to be a pretty straightforward sprint.
Okay, good.
I agree.
Well, we'll see if history's made. That'd be cool.
Be amazing.
Almost Cav.
Drink some big red wine.
Whoa.
Not me, but not yet. Maybe tomorrow.
You guys,
maybe the day after tomorrow.
You guys have also been keeping an eye on Skjelmose.
Yeah, Skjelmose. We started talking about him in the pre-show as we were trying to figure out, and as we're seeing, this is a 2-man race, right? That part is right. Who's going to take the third step? And Skjelmose is one of the names, and he had been riding good. Of course, we're only 6 days into the Tour, but had a tough day today. Lost 8 minutes. So
yeah, well, we haven't even mentioned Jai Hindley. Obviously his intention. In fact, I spoke with Casper Rota this morning, was to stay on Jonas's and Pogačar's wheel. He couldn't do it, got dropped. But I feel like he made a nice comeback on that final climb, and is I think the most favored for that third place position now.
Well, he's
for sure.
He's only a minute 34 behind. Of course, you got Vingegaard in yellow, which we should have stated earlier. Pogačar 25 seconds. Jai Hindley 134, and then drops all the way to 314 for Simon. So you're starting to get into these guys like Jai Hindley, Yates, Rodriguez, the other Yates brother, David Godot, Bardet, Pidcock.
Which I found
Landa still
it interesting.
lingering around in 11th.
Yeah, we had Bernal pulling for Rodriguez, getting him feeds on that last climb. So clearly Rodriguez is their favorite for the Tour, and they're gonna all rally around him, with Pidcock probably going to breakaways.
All right, we've got
I think Pidcock is going to try to stay in the top 10 too, George. He wants to see how far he can get in a Grand Tour. But for sure, Carlos Rodriguez. I mean, yesterday we could see on the Marie Blanc, right, when it was Sepp Kuss pulling, and then it was Jonas and Tadej. The only guy who could stay with them for a bit was Carlos Rodriguez. So, he's their guy. He's their guy. We did mention him 2 years ago on the up and comers, together with Juan Ayuso, and he's now at Ineos. But rumors are that he's going to leave that team and
go to Movistar.
Probably go to Movistar.
Yeah, of course. I didn't know that. That was just a guess. We have two more things. We got trivia, and we have Joe Natoli.
Which and some information about a trip you can join the We Do team on. Okay. So all of those. But the Ventum trivia of the day. So yesterday the question was, what was Vince Vaughn drinking in Lance Armstrong's cameo in Dodgeball? You didn't remember?
I don't remember. No, I didn't know.
The answer was Scotch on the Rocks. All right, so every day you can send in your answer. I'll give you the email at the end of this, and they'll pick one from that, and all of those winners daily go into the final drawing for a brand new NS1. Okay, so today's question is, what famous sports announcer was in Lance Armstrong's This Is Sports Center commercial?
Oh, I know that.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say. Of course, I was there, so I should. I forget a lot of things, but I haven't forgotten that.
All right.
I was not there, but I remember too.
Yeah. Trivia at ventumracing.com.
Cool.
All right. Send that answer in there and you can get entered into that. So the Joe Natoli's been hard at work again with his Photoshop magic, and he put together a little something for George today.
Oh, whoa! This is like a movie. It looks like a movie. It's like a movie promo. Super Mosca Man.
I like that. Actually,
make friends in seconds,
and then has all the little has all the strengths. He makes friends in seconds. He encourages his fans to lose weight fast, and let the doctor help you become a national hero too. Man, does Joe work? I mean, does he? He must have a real. He's got a real job.
He does great creative work. He makes movie posters, and
that just shows
promotional.
So easy, this stuff. He's like, I'll give these guys like 5 minutes of my day, and
he's very legit.
Joe's the man.
Okay, now I probably will need your help on this promoting, and Johan's on here, so it's a great reason to talk about the Mallorca trip in September. That you could join the We Do team September 24th through 29th. Johan, maybe you can tell us more about what to expect on this trip. And of course, Johan will be there in his director role, navigating things.
Lead director.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the third year in a row we organized this trip. The two last editions we all had an incredible time. For me personally, the highlight of these two trips, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lance, but it's going to be again the case, the reunion between Lance and Jan Ullrich. Mm-hmm. For me, that's such a special moment to be part of.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's 4 days of riding in Mallorca. We stay in the best place in Mallorca, I think, and we're just 24/7 together. We don't sleep. I mean, we don't. No, okay, not 24/7. Let's say 18 hours per day.
Wow.
Together, just part of a team. It's a team. It's very limited availability. We only have a few spaces left. But I'm really looking forward to it. To first of all to see you guys again and to share rides and a lot of stories.
That's right.
A lot of storytelling with our guests.
And I'm looking forward to going back with 5 or 10 pounds less on George. I mean, this is it's hard riding there, and a lot of people have heard about the rides in Mallorca. The coolest thing for me about Mallorca is it almost feels like there's more bikes than cars. And if there's not, there's enough bikes that for those who ride the road a lot, you realize, I mean, this interaction between bikes and cars is tricky. And on that island, man, the people and the locals and the cars are like, this is driving this economy, all these bikes. And so the level of respect for cyclists is next to none. And so
one of my most common questions people ask me is, where's my most favorite place in the world to ride a bike? And Mallorca's
Really?
top 3 without a doubt.
Yeah.
And that hotel that Johan mentioned is the nicest hotel I've ever been at. I know I'm not as bougie as you, but that's the nicest hotel I've ever been at.
It says the guy that took the G650 here after his birthday. Really?
Let me ask you something here, Lance. Give me an honest answer, because everyone has listened to this brotherly rivalry between you and George over the last 6+ years on this show about you're competitive. You're naturally competitive, day in, day out. Do you feel that way when you see Jan in Mallorca?
No. I just it's just George. I want to give the beat down to. But Jan's,
if you and Jan ever
fit, yeah.
I know he's been. I've been following him on socials. He seems to be doing really well and riding a lot. But you guys may ever just juice it up the hill a little bit to see.
Yeah, but it's.
I wouldn't put it past Lance this year because he's on a whole different fitness level. I mean, he's got the upper hand on me right now in the gym, no doubt. He had the upper hand on me the other day on my second day at 8,000 feet at altitude. But and now he's been blowing me off for the last 4 days to ride. He won't even bike with me. So I don't know where our fitness bike level is right now.
September's a long way away.
You know what I love to do more than ride my bike?
Play golf.
Play golf, and I've been playing some golf.
JB, just to come back on the Mallorca experience, people will definitely witness at least one day a mini, and it's not announced. It's kind of subtle. But there's this mini race between George and Lance, half wheeling up a climb, and even although Lance says he definitely doesn't feel the same way with Jan, but there is also a tiny bit of competition. It's like it's not a race, but one doesn't want to look bad and the other one doesn't want to look bad. So I've seen that twice now, 2 years in a row, and I'm sure I'm going to see it again this year, and it's really special to be part of that.
Well,
yeah, if you'd like to sign up, you want to get more information, go to wedo.team, and on the top bar you'll see it says travel, and the Mallorca trip is underneath that.
Last thing I want to say about this rivalry stuff, right? I mean, if Jan drops me, honestly, I don't care, and I wouldn't try to drop Jan. But George is a whole nother thing. Like I really. Of course, we all know we were on another fancy trip, bougie trip. I was, with actually a fellow bougie
speaking
friend.
of bougie, actually, and you just made fun of me for flying this plane or whatever that a friend of mine has. I do need to tell a little Lance story before you start. We did fly out to Tuscany with a great friend of ours who, I'm not going to say who it was, but offered a nice plane ride, really nice plane ride to Tuscany from Greenville, okay? And I'm all excited that this is happening. And I send Lance the information. He goes, how big is the plane? I go, it's a big plane. And he's like, how many people? I go, 5 people on our own plane. We're going. He's like, well, I need my own bed, bro. I mean, I'm thinking we're flying over to freaking Tuscany, and he's questioning whether or not he's gonna have his own bed, or he may or may not go. So he's calling me bougie, y'all. Y'all hear this story? He's calling me bougie.
Right. And you know what else you just punked yourself too. So because we have had some bougie trips, and I know we're getting off. Y'all can hang up if you'd like, but we've had a few of these bougie trips, right? We went to the Middle East on a jizzy. We went from Greenville to Beirut. Right,
yep.
I don't think that leg has ever been flown.
No,
we went Greenville to wherever. Where did we land in Italy? Anyway, so let's just call it Tuscany. And we don't always. What is the one consistent theme here? Right, I live in Colorado. Mm-hmm. All these other people with the jizzies live someplace else. What is the one consistent theme? All the trips originate in Greenville.
Mm. You got me there. I
mean, it's like, George's like, yeah, we got the jizzy, but you got to get your ass here. I'm like, God damn it. Anyways, all right, that's enough fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang on to some of these questions for JB Squared since we had Johan on here today. Thank you, Johan. We'll jump on JB Squared next and tackle some of these questions, and I bet he'll come up with some scoops.
I'm sure he will.
He will.
And Yep, we'll see what happens in Bordeaux tomorrow. See if Cav can make history. Thanks for tuning in. See y'all tomorrow.